Hey, what's up? It's Karen San Diego, and I'm officially, look, after a year, I don't know. I officially had BSG surgery a long time ago. So at 14 months post-op, what's changed? Everything, and I mean everything. To start off on a positive note, I want to talk about my blood test results. So I recently, maybe about like a month ago now, I went to the doctor and I got my blood drawn to just get an idea of my overall health, which is typical to do after you're a year out of surgery. And I'm glad to report that for the first time, I think, if not in my life, definitely in my adult life, I have a complete clean bill of health, meaning literally all of my levels. So my glucose levels, I remember I was pre-diabetic before surgery. My glucose levels now came back completely within normal range. Things like B12, which I was severely deficient in B12, came back within a normal range. Hormone levels, cholesterol, calcium, everything. When I say everything, literally everything, every single part of my blood test results came back completely within normal range, which is amazing. Not only because this has never happened to me before, but also because it's showing me that some of the things that I've been implementing, some of the changes that I've been making are actually working. I had got my blood drawn at around that 6-month mark. Certain things were better, like my glucose levels and things like that. I wasn't pre-diabetic anymore, pretty early out from surgery, which is great. I also had lost a pretty significant amount of weight at that point, so that's most likely why. But I think my B12 was still kind of high, and I think it was either calcium or cholesterol, I can't remember. But there were a few things that were still on the higher side, but this time everything was in a normal range. Like even my doctor was shook. So it's definitely one of those things where it's like weight loss is more than just the appearance. While looking good is great, knowing that I'm also way healthier now because of the surgery. And that brings me into my next point that I have here, and that's just that a huge factor in what I think did the difference in giving me a complete good bill of health now versus before is I have almost completely changed my diet. And what I mean by that is not just like the whole prioritizing protein thing, which I do still do, but with a twist. So what I do now is I eat a lot cleaner. Before I was eating a lot of like the sugar-free snacks, drinking sugar-free juices, low carb type things. Now I don't really eat any of those things. When it comes to snacks, if I want a snack like a cookie or something like that, I just have the cookie. Like I don't do low carb, low calorie, low sugar cookies and stuff like that anymore. I'll just have the actual thing and just not overdo it. Sometimes I overdo it, but I try to keep that in check. And then when it comes to like the sugar-free things, I've completely eliminated sugar-free juices and foods and things like that out of my diet. And instead, when I'm grocery shopping, I look for things that say no added sugar, meaning that they don't add any type of processed sugars into there. So a lot of the times these sugar-free things are still being sweetened with something else like erythritol or I think what it's called, like maltitol or something like that. I can't always pronounce them. And that right there is a sign that I don't want to be taking in too much of that to eating too much of something that I can't even pronounce. So instead of sugar-free juices, something that I have implemented into my diet now, and I think I showed that in my last What I Eat in a Day video, is I make natural juices at least once a week. And then that lasts me about 3 days after I make them. And I incorporate in those juices both fruits and vegetables. That way I'm getting in more nutrients. Along with drinking more vegetables and fruits, I also eat a lot more fruits and vegetables. So for snacks throughout the day, I love eating things like watermelon, bananas, pineapples, grapes, those type of things, just as snacks. And then for vegetables, I like to incorporate them into whatever meal I'm eating. For like breakfast, I'll make sure to put some spinach and like some mushrooms into my eggs if I have any. For dinners, if I'm doing lunch, maybe like some sort of wrap or like a salad and load it up with veggies, or even just something like making pasta, but pureeing some squash or cauliflower or something into the sauce. That way I'm getting more vegetables into my food, and also trying my best to cook as many of my meals as possible. Although I'm not perfect and I definitely do eat outside sometimes, a lot of times, but I am conscious of it and try my best to cook as much as I can, because cooking my food allows me to control the ingredients that are going into it and making sure I'm eating better. I also have been increasing my carbs, and this is done intentionally. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm actually increasing my carbs to try to maintain / gain a little bit of weight, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Like overall, when I say that everything has changed, it's just that I honestly feel like a completely different person. Like my priorities change, my interests are changing, I eat different, I act different, I think different. Like everything seems to be so different from the person I used to be. Like even something as simple as, you know, Instagram, like in the top, sometimes when you open your Instagram, it'll say memories and you'll be able to see old stories of yours. I'll see stories from like a year ago, like right before I had surgery, and some of the things that I'm saying in my story. And I'm like, who is that? Like, I don't think like that anymore. I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like I'm literally becoming a completely different person. And while it's amazing to see the growth of becoming a new person, and there's so much positive things that come with that, such as eating better and, you know, working out more and being more kind, because I do feel like I'm nicer now than I was before. I used to be very upset all the time and very argumentative, and I feel like that's been changing as well. But with all the positive changes that are happening for me right now, and me feeling like a different person, there are some things to it that are negative. And one of those things is just that I feel like my mental health has not been great for the past few months. I think that that's pretty evident in like my lack of consistency with posting. And that's not to say that like I don't want to post or anything like that, but sometimes I'm just feeling sad and nothing happened to cause me to feel sad. But sometimes recently I'm noticing that I'm just getting into this like weird funk that I can't really always explain. And there's a few things that I feel like have caused me to go to that place, and I'll share that as well. But sometimes like there really isn't a thing. Like I can't think of the catalyst, that moment that is just like causing me to feel that way. Like sometimes out of nowhere, I just feel really sad. And I think that that's something that I definitely struggled with before surgery, but I feel like had went away for a while post-op, and then just for whatever reason now has just come back full force. And I wasn't expecting that, especially because seemingly I'm in a really good place. It doesn't make sense to me why sometimes I'll get back to that negative place without anything triggering it. And sometimes I think it has something to do with me feeling like right now I'm experiencing a little bit of an identity crisis, in that I don't necessarily connect to the person that I used to be, while also simultaneously not quite knowing who I am now and trying to relearn who I am now as a grown woman is difficult. Like it almost feels like I'm a teenager again, trying to discover myself. And I remember being really moody back then during that time in my life, and it kind of feels like that again. Like there are things that before I would have brushed off that now, like I feel like having an increased confidence in yourself makes you realize that there are certain things that you just don't accept as a person anymore. And not knowing how to navigate those situations can be stressful, or just wanting more for yourself because you feel like you deserve more, whether that be in your career, whether that be in life in general, relationships, or just as far as your goals. Like you start to just want more for yourself because you see yourself as somebody who is deserving of that, and you don't know how to navigate that. Like I've never had to like actually fight for myself and what I want, and I even kind of relate that to YouTube. Part of the reason that I was inconsistent for a little bit there is I started having this extreme imposter syndrome. Like I'm sitting here watching, for those of you who don't know, I've had a YouTube channel for quite some time now. I've been on YouTube since 2010, when YouTube was just first getting started. And I've wanted to do YouTube seriously this entire time, and only now has it started taking off, and my numbers are growing quickly, and it's amazing. But sometimes it's like I get imposter syndrome, and recently it's just like I feel like I'm self-sabotaging myself, which then causes me to feel more sad. And it's definitely related to the weight loss, because it was losing weight that gave me the confidence to even take this seriously. And now that I'm here, I don't know what to do with it. And I definitely find myself struggling to keep the confidence and keep feeling secure enough in myself to know that I deserve all of the recognition that I'm getting, that I deserve the community that I'm growing. Sometimes I feel like I don't, and sometimes I just feel like an imposter, and it's hard to shake. And saying it out loud, like, I know these things are not true. I know I do deserve everything that is coming my way, but sometimes, I don't know, like, the truth in my brain just don't be connecting sometimes. On top of that, I feel like my mental health sometimes is negatively impacted by Mrs. Body Dysmorphia, actually Mr. Body Dysmorphia, because body dysmorphia, that's a man, that is not a woman. Body dysmorphia has me feeling bad about myself regardless of what I feel like I look like in that moment. Like, I have some days where I look at myself and I feel super skinny, and I feel like, oh my God, you look so skinny, you look sickly, right? But then there are other days where I look at myself and I feel like I look fat. And then I'm like, oh my God, look at you, you look so big. I had gotten to a place where that negative self-talk was stopping, and I felt so good about that. And then I feel like it just started creeping back up on me. And it's just like, I'm not giving myself a break to just feel good about myself. And this is not every single day. I do have days where I do feel confident and I do feel great. And those days honestly do outweigh the negative days I'm talking about. But I'm just trying to be real that there are days where I still do beat myself up for no reason. And I haven't quite gotten a grasp at how to handle it. And as I'm saying this, I have a friend who's a therapist, and I can just hear her in my ear going, go to therapy, go to therapy. She doesn't talk like that. I know I should go to therapy to talk this out with somebody, and I will. I haven't yet, but right now, I'm just letting you guys know what's been going on. So with body dysmorphia, for me, it's really just a work in progress. I think that something I've been doing to help with this is really just spending some time really just looking at myself in the mirror and helping myself recognize that I look great. I look amazing. My body looks great. I eat well, and like, there's no reason to beat myself up, but sometimes it takes a little bit of extra push to get me to move past it. But what's that song? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, have bad days too. That one? Yeah. To bring it back to a positive note, something that has changed since my last update is your girl is a gym girly now. Like, when I say gym girly, I work out damn near every single day. If I don't get to work out every single day, I at least work out a minimum of 4 days a week every single week. Like, I don't miss. And the reason I don't miss is that I feel good when I go to the gym. I feel accomplished when I complete my workout. And also, I've been looking at my body and seeing the gains, muscle gains, and feeling really confident about myself, and just feeling successful with the fact that I was able to train hard enough to be able to see the results so quickly. And going to the gym is one of those things where you don't always get that instant gratification. And that's why it can be hard to get into a good swing of things with your routine. But once you do, once you see the results of your hard work, you're locked in. Like, there's no way to stop once you see the results of what you've been doing, because you want to get into those results. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm in a really good swing of things with going to the gym. Yeah, and I want to see, like, as I keep doing this, 1, 2, 3, 4 years out, how I'm able to transform my body. Speaking of transforming my body, I spoke a little bit earlier about me trying to intentionally gain weight, and it is because of the gym. So I noticed that when I first started going to the gym hard, my loose skin was becoming more visible because I was losing more fat and getting slimmer. And because of that, the skin was becoming more noticeable, very, very loose. Before, there was like fat in there, so it wasn't that noticeable. But for me, it was starting to become really noticeable. So something I've been doing intentionally, which is weird because it is the first time in my life that I've ever done this, but I've intentionally been gaining back a little bit of weight in order to fill it out gaining back the weight while building muscle. It is doing wonders for my body, like wonders. If you watch, I did a loose skin update recently, so you can look at that video and compare it to my videos from before. And honestly, since that video, things have got even better. If you follow me on Instagram, almost every single day I post in the gym, I show you my body, and you can see very, very clearly the results. And when I say that I've been intentionally gaining weight, What I mean by that is I've been increasing my carbs and increasing my portion size without pushing my restriction. Eating a lot more protein and just making sure that I'm getting in a good solid meal versus kind of eating like a bird, you know? And when I say intentionally gaining weight, that does not mean picking out on things like fast food. That means eating real food and gaining back good weight, not gaining back bad weight. I'm gonna do some what I eat in a days. I have one plan I think I'm gonna record tomorrow. This video is gonna come out before that video, so look out for the what I eat in a day video. But I'll show you what I mean by eating to gain a little bit of weight, but good weight. But with doing that, with gaining a little bit of weight so that I can fill my body out a little bit more, it has helped with the appearance of my loose skin, being that as I'm gaining back a little bit of weight, I'm also gaining muscle, which is becoming very, very visible. Like some areas that have really got better toned is my stomach area. My stomach has almost no hang from the loose skin anymore. Like it's almost filled in. My legs have firmed up a lot, even from that loose skin video that I did like 2 weeks ago. It's already started firming up a lot more. My arms are probably the only area that I have not noticed like a crazy amount of growth in, but my arms also are an area that I do plan on having arm lifts very soon. Same thing with the breast lift. I would love to have them at the same time, and of course I will vlog it if I do. But everywhere else, my stomach, my back, my legs, my butt, all of those areas are firming up nicely since I've started changing the way that I eat. And then as far as the gym goes, what I've been doing differently in the gym, when I first started getting back into the gym, I was doing a lot of cardio, but I started doing a lot of research. I follow a lot of fitness influencers, read a lot of articles, and just try to do as much research as I can on fitness. And I've modified my workouts in a way that I've been able to see real results. And I will do a video about this once I feel confident that I really know what I'm talking about, because I don't want to lead y'all in the wrong direction. So I want to make sure that I'm as knowledgeable about this before I do a video on it, or work out with a trainer on video so that they can help me make sure I'm like saying everything right. But just to give you a gist of what I do differently now, before I used to do like half an hour, sometimes even an hour of just cardio. Whereas now I do about 10 to 15 minutes of cardio at the beginning of my workout, which usually consists of me walking on the treadmill at an incline. Or sometimes for those 10 to 15 minutes, I'll do like a few minutes of walking, and then I'll run for like 2 minutes and then go back and forth between walking and running, and then I'll get off the treadmill. Once I get off the treadmill, I go over to the weights. I either do the machines or free weights, or the, I forgot what the machine is called, but the machine with the dumbbell where it like it's holding it for you so you can keep it on balance. Because I haven't quite got my balance yet with holding the barbells for myself, which eventually I'll work myself up to. And then once I've done that for about 45 minutes, I then end my workout every single time with the ropes. So that's those weighted cable ropes that you just like go like this. And that's a great way to end with a little bit of cardio, but it's cardio while also working out your entire body. And that has been what's worked for me. As far as what I do with the weights, it changes every day. So some days I'll focus on the upper body, some days I'll focus on lower body, some days I'll do a full body workout. And I determine what I do that day based off how my body is feeling. So if I did legs the day before and it was a super intense workout, the next day maybe I won't do legs and I'll just do arms. Or sometimes maybe I get in the gym and I don't feel any sort of like tension anywhere and I'll just do full body. I don't know if that's the best way to go about it. So like I said, I need to do more research before I actually like create a video and share what I've been doing. All right, so I've been doing a lot of talking. So let's just get right into the weigh-in to see what I weigh now at 14 months post-op. All right, so as you can see, I weigh 161 pounds now, which is an increase from my last video. Last time I was 158 pounds. So that's like, what was that, like 4 pounds? No, 3 pounds, a 3-pound difference. So while 3 pounds is not like a crazy amount of weight gain, it was enough to help me really fill out the areas that were looking a little bit too loose for me. And I think I could still potentially get closer to 165. I think I might actually look better at that weight. But we'll see. I'm not opposed to gaining a little bit more weight if it's good weight, and that means filling out my body and looking better. I'm not somebody who is super strict on like, I need to be this weight. I'm not obsessed with the scale. If you've been following me for a long time, you know that I've been saying the scale is evil from the beginning. The number on the scale is not what I obsess over. I definitely do obsess over what I look like though. So I'm worried about, do I look good? Do I feel good? And most importantly, am I healthy? So for me, this is what works for me. And although I am not a doctor, I've definitely noticed a trend within the bariatric community that is concerning to me. And while I'm not a doctor, I just really would like us to focus on health. And honestly, I think that a big part of the issue I'm talking about is the obsession with the scale. Like, I've seen some people that have literally posted about like their doctor being the one telling them they need to be at a certain goal weight. Like, some doctors give a certain goal weight to their patients. They'll be like, oh, you should get to 134. We want to see you at 134. We want to see you at 140, whatever. And then that number is stuck in people's heads and makes them obsessed with it. And I'm fortunate that my doctor never did that. She never gave me a goal weight. It was more so about getting to a comfortable place for me. And I'm really thankful for that. But I've noticed a lot of doctors pushing this whole thing with getting to a specific number on the scale. And the thing is, the number on the scale is an arbitrary number. Like, that number on the scale, so many different things can contribute to the scale, your actual body mass being different, being higher or being lower. And we should really be focused on being healthy. We should focus on feeling good about ourselves. We should focus on how we feel we look in the mirror. We should focus on how our clothes fit and do we feel confident. And none of those things are related necessarily to the number on the scale. So I would just like us to get to a place where we're not concerned with that. Like, of course, you know, the scale, getting on the scale every now and then can be useful just to keep track of where you're at. But as far as looking at it as like being upset that the number isn't exactly where it is, I feel like that is such an unhealthy thing. And we talk a lot in our community about transfer addiction. And I think some people actually go from being addicted to food to being addicted to weight loss. And that is just as unhealthy in my opinion, because what that causes is people eating in a way that is not healthy. That is not, you're not getting enough nutrition. And then I get a lot of questions about hair loss and how do you avoid hair loss? And really the way to avoid hair loss is to not be malnourished. And when you're constantly chasing just weight loss, that's where that malnutrition comes from. And I want us to get out of that. I want us to focus on being healthy, being the best version of ourselves. And while, you know, we all got the surgery to lose weight, so that is the goal. But there's a way to do it that is also healthy. And we also can do it while being kind to ourselves and not obsessing over that evil scale. The scale is genuinely evil. The scale's evil. The body BMI charts are evil. All of that is evil. Measurements are a great way to track weight loss instead of relying on the scale. Trying on clothes is a great way to track weight loss without relying on the scale. There are so many better ways than obsessing over being a certain exact number. Because you know how many people I know weigh a very low amount of weight but are extremely unhealthy? I just want to break us out of the chokehold the scale has on us, like for real. And honestly, like I'm guilty of it sometimes too. I do have moments where I step on the scale and I'm like, But luckily I know that scale is evil. So I'm able to snap myself out of that easily. But my goal here, if nothing else, if I don't influence you to do anything else, I want to influence you to break the chains that the scale has on you and instead focus on being the healthiest version of yourself while continuing on your weight loss journey. As far as just some reflections that I've had recently is just that one with the whole weight gain thing that I'm doing. It's just a blessing to me to be in a mental space where I can even say that. Like, I've never in my life been like, yeah, I want to gain some weight. Like, literally never. And the whole weight gain thing, it has nothing to do with like wanting to be gluttonous or anything like that. It's just me literally trying to be the best version of myself and thinking of what weight can I be where I can literally be the healthiest version of myself, where I can look like the healthiest version of myself. And it's not like, oh, I need to be super skinny. Like, I'm not chasing skinny, I'm chasing healthy. Both physically, like as far as looking healthy, and healthy as in being actually healthy. For me, the thing I wasn't expecting was that going to the doctor and getting that clean bill of health, that perfect blood test results, That was a bigger moment for me than reaching my goal weight. And I wasn't expecting that. Like for my entire adult life, well, no. For as long as I've been overweight, I have wanted to get down to under 165, and doing that is great. But I also did not realize how impactful it would be to go to the doctor and simply just be healthy. To not have any health problems, to literally just have a clean bill of health. I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for that for myself. I'm grateful for that as a mother, knowing that I made a decision that is going to help me be here for my daughter, to be there for her kids, to be there for myself, my husband, my family. All of those things have brought me such joy. And even though I still have days where I am not mentally where I want to be, I just feel like I'm on the right track. And with the right help, like I said, I will find therapy. But with the right help, I think I am going to be amazing. And I'm so excited to see where I go in this journey, where this journey takes me. We say the VSG journey for a reason. It is not a point A to point B thing. It is a lifelong journey that you're on after getting this surgery. I don't think people realize how impactful and intense and up and down roller coaster this journey actually is. But with every dip and turn, I'm still so grateful and so happy that I made this decision. No regrets. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Make sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.
Where in the world is Karen San Diego? From BK to Belly, it's anywhere she say so. She changing your life, can see it straight through her eyes.